Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And as you know, we're kind of right in the middle of our LinkedIn month where we focus every single program on LinkedIn. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll always say it. If you are a business professional, you absolutely, positively must be on LinkedIn. But of course, the question is, you're there? Now what do you do? And so many people set up their profiles. They set them up years ago, right? Never went back to them, have no idea what to do. So that's why this month is so much fun, because we're talking with so many experts in how to use LinkedIn truly as a great business tool. And oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk to the guest right now, because this man knows how to use LinkedIn to make money and make great contacts. Holy schmoly, we're going to learn a lot today. So please join me in welcoming John Nemo to our program today. Welcome, John.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for that kind introduction.
Well, I read your book, and we'll talk about that in just a second, because you really, not only have you literally written the book on LinkedIn, you truly use it almost exclusively, it sounds like, to build your business and build a nice, very successful business. And I think that's what people are so confused about. They think, what do we do with it? But John, why should I even use it? I'm not looking for a new job. And so that's where we really want to help people out today.
I love it. And I think, go ahead.
Well, Let me tell people about you, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, go ahead. You better set this up, Deb. Sorry to jump on your intro.
Get this set
I'm
up.
excited.
I know, because we're going to have so much fun talking about this. So John Nemo is a best-selling LinkedIn author and trainer who has been featured by LinkedIn's official marketing blog, Social Media Examiner, Entrepreneur on Fire, Inc. Magazine, Huffington Post, Business Insider, and many others that, we have heard of. John has personally rewritten the LinkedIn profiles of people including Chris Brogan, John Lee Dumas, Mary Smith, Dan Miller, Ray Edwards, Tom Ziegler, who's the son of Zig Ziglar, Jarek Robbins, who is the son of Tony, and many other A-list business names and entrepreneurs. So again, John, welcome.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
And we really are going to have so much fun talking about this, but more importantly, we're going to learn a lot. So first, let's back up. Show us the book. We want to see the book.
You said to here's a gratuitous book flyby.
Do
nice
Vanna, LinkedIn Riches. And, it's a great book. It's a little book, 120 pages, fast read, but oh my gosh, so much info. And I've got my digital version open here because I wanted to be able to talk about parts of it. But let's go back and kind of set the stage, because this is not where you thought you'd be when you were growing up. And it truly has become your passion. So tell us how you got from where you were to where you are now.
Yeah, great question. And it really started, I grew up as the son of two English teachers. So I grew up in a home, both my parents, and this will come into my story later, but both my parents taught English at the university level. And so I grew up in a home filled floor to ceiling with books and storytelling. That led me into what I thought was going to be a career for the long term in journalism. So I got a degree. Remember newspapers? You used to have these printed.
Newspapers.
We used to roll these up and throw them on people's steps. Like, I have a degree that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So it's called print journalism. You can't even get that anymore as a degree. So listen, it's never too late to pivot and reinvent. That's the first thing I want people to know. So I started out working for the Associated Press, different newspapers, Arizona Republic, transitioned into a career, then flipping over into public relations, and I worked for some different trade associations. Social media comes on the scene. And back in 2012, I really had this entrepreneurial itch. I'd always worked for employers. At the time, I had a very safe 6-figure day job. I was going to be fine. I could kind of coast into retirement. I had 3 young boys at home. My wife is at home. And I did something really crazy, Deb. I had to scratch this itch. And so I had one client on this kind of side gig I had started, my own little marketing agency. One client, enough money for 30 days, and I quit. I quit my day job.
Oh my gosh. And your wife didn't divorce you and move the kids elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm sure and here's how I did it. For anyone that's in that position that wants to become that corporate dropout, obviously some people are better at planning and saving than I was. I was not. Like I just had to go and burn the ships behind me. I wasn't going to have investors and a big plan and ramp up time. But the story that I told myself and the narrative that I think really helps people make that leap is I was at a place in my career where I can always go get another day job.
Right.
So the story I told myself was, go for it. Take your shot. You've got your back to the wall because I had my 3 young boys at home. My wife isn't working. She's home taking care of them. If it doesn't work and you fall on your face, go back, interview, get a day job. The narrative that you tell the new employer is, hey, I had this entrepreneurial scratch. I wanted to try it. Hey, it's a lot harder than it looks. I'm happy to come back and be a corporate person.
Yep. And I'll be dedicated to you forever.
Right. And so thank God I've never had to use that speech, but that's the story I told myself in order to quit. And so here's where LinkedIn comes in. So I quit, and yes, I threw caution to the wind and jumped into the deep end, but I had a plan because I saw an opportunity with LinkedIn, and this is all the way back in 2012, to really use it not in the ways that you were talking about at the beginning, which is kind of what it's known for, which is, it's just for job seekers, employment.
You cut and paste your resume and you make some contacts and maybe
it's more just it's a resume and you're just supposed to be there, but what do you really do with it? I saw an opportunity back in 2012 to really build a book of business directly from LinkedIn. And what I mean by this is using that platform kind of like Google for B2B leads. So business to business is really where LinkedIn shines. And so the happy part of my story is quit the day job, one client, enough money for a month. Within 90 days, I had generated 6 figures in revenue all by myself.
Wow.
Sitting in my fancy office, which was a wobbly folding card table, right? In our bedroom in the corner. But I was building a business from scratch online with my laptop. All from LinkedIn.
Right.
And so really we can get into all the how and why and the lessons, which I want to do, but that's really why I'm so passionate about this platform. And for the past decade, yes, I've built my business, but now I've shown thousands of others how to replicate that, how to find and engage and sell to your clients on LinkedIn, but without being sleazy or spammy. And it's really, there is an art form to this.
Right. And as I was reading your book, one of the things that I liked about it was I really did get a good sense of who you are, and which that's always good. I mean, you clearly do have a background in writing, but it was also very honest, but one of the things that struck me was the fact that you didn't dabble at this. As you said, when you jumped in. It wasn't, well, I'm going to spend 10 minutes on LinkedIn and then I'm going to go read a book and then I'm going to go play with my boys. Now you did, you were home, you played with your sons. I mean, that was part of all of this, was be able to spend more time with them. But you really, really sat down and thought, how can I make LinkedIn work? And you used it as the tool. And I think that maybe is where so many people, including, I guess I'll raise my hand on this one, people say, well, how much time do I have to spend on LinkedIn? And, 15 minutes is usually, and okay, we're going to throw that all away. Now, don't panic, people, because it's all right if you really do only have 15 minutes. This is not, but if you really want to make it work, then you have to make it work. This is not, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes and go off and do something else. So and we'll talk about this because it's in the book and we want people to get copies of the book and things like that. But, you really do have a very specific strategy on how to do it. And one of the first things that really struck me was, we'll talk about profile, we'll talk about pictures, all of those things, but you knew exactly who you were going to market to. And to me, that is one of the most difficult things that I talk to people about. I'll talk to a new business owner, or maybe even not a new business owner, and I'll say, who are you trying to reach? And they smile sweetly and they say, everyone. I know. And I try to not beat them about the head, because no one, I don't care what business you are, everyone is not your client. And you got it down to a really, really small niche of people. And, and I think you mentioned in the book, there were like 5,000 in the United States. And you built your business on that small number. And I really want to emphasize that, because so many people think, well, if I get my niche so small, I've just cut out so many thousands of people. That's okay. They weren't going to buy from you anyway. So tell us a little bit more about how you really determined who your niche was and how you were going to reach them.
Yeah, what a great insight. And it really is true, not just on LinkedIn, but in business in general. The best piece of advice I got, I give a lot of credit to my brother-in-law, who was an entrepreneur, kind of self-made. And when I was getting ready to leap, I asked him, like, what do I do? I said, I have one client. He's a debt collector. And I had worked in a trade association as the PR guy for debt collectors. So that's how I met him. I knew the industry. I knew the pain points. So I was able to get him. He was the guy, this first client of mine, Tom Backle was his name. He goes, you need to be on your own. You can do this. And he's like, I'll give you money. Like, I want to hire you. So I went to my brother-in-law. I'm like, hey, I want to open a marketing agency. I have this one client. I'm going to find business on LinkedIn, but I really want to work with everyone and anyone. I can help anyone with marketing.
I can help anybody. I'm marketing.
Yeah, I was that guy. I was that guy. And he said to me, he goes, I'm always a big fan of be the big fish in the small pond. And the riches are in the niches. And what I learned right away on LinkedIn was that if you try to be everything to everyone on LinkedIn, you'll be nothing to no. Because again, what I really learned right away, and the way that I niched this to kind of bring it full circle, was I had one client who was a debt collector, and it was going to be much easier for me to take the success I was going to get for him and sell it to other debt collectors. So I became John Nemo, debt collection marketing guy. That was my only aim for LinkedIn. And I run into the same thing, Deb, where people come to me and go, well, I don't want to niche down that much because I could help this, and I have clients here and I have clients there.
They're the yabbits.
Yeah. The problem, though, is people really want to feel like you get them. Like get their industry, like you walked in their shoes. By far, the most successful clients I have on LinkedIn that I teach this approach to replicate that model of the riches are in the niches. So to kind of bring this full circle, here's what I did. The first thing I did was I took my LinkedIn profile, and instead of having it read like a resume, third person, I'm the CEO of Nemo Media Group, blah, blah, blah. Like, it makes me sound important, but no one cares. I built my entire business off one sentence, literally, from How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. He wrote this in 1936, and he said, your ideal clients, your ideal customers do not care about you. They do not care. They care about themselves morning, noon, and after supper. So I took that one line and I said, how does that apply to LinkedIn? Well, with my profile, yes, the riches are in the niches. So I want to really focus on targeting debt collectors. And there were only 5,000 in the United States.
Probably not a lot of those were on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and they weren't qualified. Most of them couldn't even afford a market. They were one or two person shops. So it was a tiny little niche. But what I realized was, okay, now I'm going to go all in on LinkedIn. But again, nobody cares about me. So what should my profile look like? So instead of having a resume, what you do is you flip your profile upside down and you make it what I call client facing. And where this really comes in is, here's an example, everyone, we're going to start bringing immediate value. So the first thing you can do with your LinkedIn headline, instead of it saying John Nemo, CEO, Nemo Media Group, blah, 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 your name, your job title, your company name, you say the target audience you serve or the industry you serve and the service you provide. So your LinkedIn headline, it's your photo, your name, and then the headline, instead of your job title and all that, it says audience plus service. So for me, it said marketing services for debt collection agencies.
Because right there, people went, oh, you either work with me or you don't work with me.
Yes.
That was it.
Separated them. Because again, there's 700 million members on LinkedIn. You don't need them all to be clients, Deb.
You
don't. But
we wish, but
But if I'm a debt collector on LinkedIn and I get an invite from John Nemo,
Mhm.
all I see is his smiling face, his name, and his headline.
Mhm.
If it says CEO Nemo Media Group, what's in it for me as a debt
Yeah.
collector? I don't know anything. Who are
Yeah.
you?
First of all, yeah. What is Nemo Media Group?
What does that
That
even
sounds
mean?
expensive.
But if it's, yeah, I wish. So,
Mhm.
but instead it says John Nemo, I provide marketing services for debt collectors or
Mhm.
marketing services for debt collectors. Well, I'm a
Right.
debt collector. I can now
Yeah. And I need
immediately
marketing
decide,
services.
yeah,
Mhm.
what's in it for me? Well, maybe this guy can help me. He
Mhm.
specializes in my little world of debt
Mhm.
collection. That's the first part of your profile, the headline.
Right.
Then I rewrote the profile's about section.
Mhm.
Most
Mhm.
people's about section, again, all about you. And again,
Yeah.
no one cares. So
Right.
don't write about
Mhm.
yourself and your accolades and what you
Mhm.
love to do and how great you are. Instead, the first line I give clients is a template. It says what I do.
Right.
Okay?
And the template's in the book, folks.
It's
Buy
all
the
in the
book.
book. I give it away for free. What I do, I help insert the name of your target audience,
Mhm.
get a benefit they want
Mhm.
by providing my product or service.
Right.
What I do, I help
Mhm.
this audience get what
Mhm.
they want by providing my product or service.
Mhm.
So the first sentence of my LinkedIn profile back in 2012, headline, John Nemo, Debt Collection Marketing Services. First sentence of the profile, what I do, I help debt collectors generate leads, increase sales, and improve revenue,
Mhm.
benefits they want
Mhm.
by providing industry-specific marketing services.
Right.
So now when I was connecting with that niche
Mhm.
audience,
Mhm.
that what was in it for them was, I know who this guy is. I
Mhm.
know how he can help me.
Right.
Yes or no, do I want
Mhm.
his help?
Right.
And they would self-qualify
Mhm.
by accepting my invite.
Mhm.
Now we're moving into targeted niche approach where they can immediately decide,
Mhm.
oh, cool. How can you help me? How can you help me? And we can
Mhm.
talk more about that. But that's the fundamental
Mhm.
mindset shift you have to have with LinkedIn when you're setting up your profile is, again, making it not a resume, but client facing, and
Mhm.
then niche audience. Who is it that I want to serve and what's in it for them
Right.
if they partner with
Mhm.
me? And that's
Right.
those sentences, what I do,
Mhm.
who I serve, how I help you.
Mhm.
And again, it works perfectly because the people you connect with, here's the other thing about LinkedIn nobody talks about, Deb. 99% of the business you win on LinkedIn is going to be you reaching out to someone and talking to them.
Right. Right. It's not
1%
that they
is
searched for you when we went, hey, John, I want to hire you.
right. That's the pipe dream.
Mhm.
Maybe it used to be different. People could find,
Mhm.
but there's 700 million profiles.
Mhm.
Nobody's going to use LinkedIn and magically land your profile and go, I've just got to hire you. It's
Mhm.
you reaching out one-on-one. And this
Mhm.
is the other big thing. You mentioned this earlier, like how much time do I have to spend and all
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
The reason this book here is so thin is I'm only sharing what's going to make you money. And
Right.
here's the big thing.
Mhm.
The money on LinkedIn is in the mailbox.
Mhm.
All the money in LinkedIn is in one-on-one personal messaging,
Right.
personal engagement.
Mhm.
It's not in status updates. It's not in articles.
Mhm.
It's not in video. It's not in LinkedIn ads.
Mhm.
It's not in a bunch of bells and whistles.
Mhm.
There's all these different things you could do on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I've tried to teach clients, Deb, you can't deposit likes or shares or video views in your bank account.
Right. Yeah.
They,
The
they
mortgage people don't like that.
The mortgage people have not accepted my Facebook likes or LinkedIn likes as payment. They take dollars.
Mhm.
So I'm hyper focused when I work
Mhm.
with a client on LinkedIn to keep it
Mhm.
super short and super simple, which is client facing profile
Mhm.
aimed at niche audience. Step 2 is we find the ideal clients. Step 3 is we connect and talk to them
Mhm.
one-on-one via LinkedIn messages
Mhm.
and we make sales. That's it.
Right.
That's
Right.
the whole system.
Mhm. Yeah.
So how much time do I have to put in? Well, what if I could tell you as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a sales professional, what if I could say to you every day, I can put you in front of your exact ideal prospect,
Mhm.
the exact decision maker, no gatekeepers, no
Right.
shenanigans. If I could put you face to face, one to one with the exact person who wants to buy what you have,
Mhm.
would you want to spend time talking to those individuals? Yeah, line it
Mhm.
up, man. Give me the
Yeah.
calls, give me the
Oh, yeah.
coffee
Wait,
meetings.
you mean I don't have to drive across town and go to a networking meeting with people
No.
that I don't even care about?
And play professional footsie and
Uh-huh.
pretend.
Yep.
Stop wasting time. Like I had a client today that I was talking to who said, well, I'm spending all this money on radio ads. And I just, to quote you, I wanted to just grab her and shake her by the shoulders.
Right.
And I said, why
Mhm.
are you doing that and
Mhm.
hoping someone moves, a stranger listens
Mhm.
to it and finds you, as opposed to, why don't we just go on LinkedIn, invite the exact person you want to
Right.
sell your product to connect,
Mhm.
warm them up, and we'll talk about the strategies. But that's where I spend my time. I
Right.
talk one-on-one with my exact ideal buyer,
Mhm.
and I quickly can move them, even if I do it all manually by myself, to quick one-on-one conversations. LinkedIn is the world's biggest virtual coffee shop.
Right.
Walk in every day. You look for the people that you want to do business with, strike up a conversation, and then I have specific strategies we can get into of how to convert that from, hey, nice to meet you,
Right.
et cetera, to do you want to buy my stuff? And it works incredibly well.
Right. You know, and you spend the amount of time that you want to and need to. You know, initially you spend a lot of time, but when we're just setting up a business, we're spending a lot of time, or we should be. You know, and we'll talk about, okay, what if we're, you know, later about, okay, well, what if this is a side business and, you know, some things like that. But, you know, then when you get the process down, if you're any good at it, you've shortened the time frame. You know, you're not writing everything from scratch. You've got templates, you know, you've got your built-in searches, you know, all these various things. So then you're able to go do the work, go do the fun, go do all of those things. And maybe it is going to a networking thing because you still want to go out and meet people and, you know, things like that. Excuse me. But, you know, it is, you have to spend the time. And, you know, and that's, you know, I really want people to understand that this isn't, gee, I'm going to cut and paste everything in there, log in maybe once a week, and I'm going to get wealthy off of it. No, you know, that is just not the way this is going to work. But what I love is that you really, as you said, you've got this simplified. You know, it is going to take a while to set it up, but once you've got this down, it's going to go as well as you want and need it to.
Yeah, and we don't need to overthink it. It's very simple. And I give a lot of templates and scripts away. And really, it's a very simple process. And let me explain this too. My mission in life is to build a business around my lifestyle and not the other way around. Right. So I want to have
three kids and a wonderful wife.
3 kids and a dog and a wife. And I want to, so I have it down where I can automate and scale and search and personalize. So let me give everyone an example.
Okay.
If I wanted to sell my product or service to the chief financial officer of hospitals in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I live, I could use LinkedIn search because, again, LinkedIn is like Google for leads. Every piece of data that you've entered on that platform is saved, indexed, sortable, and searchable. So 700,
and it's a good search engine.
Yeah,
I think that's what many people don't understand is the LinkedIn search engine is extremely robust.
Yeah, it's like a Rolodex of leads. And so you can reverse engineer all that data because LinkedIn went big brother and gathered every piece of data you ever put in and find people. So I can do this, Deb. I can say, I want to find a list of hospital CFOs that I eventually want to sell to who live in Minneapolis, who went to the University of Minnesota, because that's another icebreaker, and have been at
we
their
see the shirt.
Yeah, go Gophers, right? So I'm going to play on these different icebreakers, but I've created through LinkedIn search a list of, let's say, 100 CFOs at hospitals in Minnesota who went to the University of Minnesota. Now, when I go to engage them one-on-one, I have a pre-done template or script that says, hi, insert name of the person. Notice you live in Minnesota. Don't you love our beautiful spring weather? Ha ha ha. Like, because right now it's like 39 and raining. Minnesota's a miserable place a lot of months of the year. Let's just be honest. I don't know why I live here, but weather joke. He lives in Minnesota. By the way, I see you went to the University of Minnesota. Go Gophers, right? I'm talking about where they went to school. These are icebreakers. This is what you do in real life. Where are you from? Where did you go to school? Where do you live? What do you think of the weather? So all that's in a template form. I see you live here. What do you think of the weather? How did you enjoy your time at the University of Minnesota? Do you still follow the Gophers? Then, by the way, excited to connect, blah, blah, blah. And then if they see that invite, it's different than 99.9% that they get on LinkedIn because it's personalized.
Because it's not. We have similar contacts, and I think it would be good to connect with you.
Let's explore mutual synergies. Yeah, gag me with a spoon, as my sisters used to say in the 80s, right? Gag me with a spoon. Okay. So, sorry, 80s flashback. It happens all the time. I know. You know the 80s, so you'll roll with it. Yeah. But what happens is you can scale and personalize because I can copy and paste that template or have my VA do it to 100 CFOs in Minnesota,
Mhm.
and it's personalized. It uses
Right.
their name, it talks
Mhm.
about where they live and the weather,
Mhm.
and it mentions where they went to school and
Mhm.
banters about the team.
Right.
Now what happens is, here's an example. If I want to reach out to 100 of them personally, in 60 minutes, I can have my VA or me copy
Mhm.
and paste and adjust that
Right.
script.
Right.
So you've now reached out to 100 exact target
Mhm.
buyers.
Mhm.
Now what
It's
happens?
just like you went to an industry conference and they
Yes.
were all a little captive audience.
Yeah, I use this example when I'm teaching. If you walked into a conference and all the hospital CFOs in the meeting area had on red T-shirts that said CFO, you
Mhm.
could walk right to them and
Yeah. Yeah.
instantly
You're
talk.
like, not don't need to talk to you, but ooh.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
not the people I
Mhm.
need. You're the person. And
Mhm.
so that's where the power comes in with LinkedIn. And then where it gets really good, and since we're on video, this little device here in the palm of your hand
Mhm.
with LinkedIn, you can put your entire personality through LinkedIn's mailbox. And
Right.
here's what I mean. With LinkedIn's mobile apps, and again,
Mhm.
all the money's in the mailbox, the
Mhm.
one-on-one messaging. Once I connect with you and start
Mhm.
bantering, LinkedIn's one-on-one messaging, if you use the mobile app, you can send personal selfie videos,
Mhm.
you can send audio memos,
Mhm.
you can send images, you can send animated
Mhm.
GIFs, the funny images that
Mhm.
move, you can do
Mhm.
emojis. LinkedIn understands that you are marketing to other human beings.
Mhm.
How do human beings like to engage? We like to see each other. We like to
Right.
hear each other. We like to look each other in the
Mhm.
eye. So you can overlay your real life personality
Mhm.
into a little selfie video
Mhm.
for a connection.
Right.
Hey, Barry, I saw your reply. That's so cool. You're still a Gophers fan. You can see
Mhm.
I'm wearing my T-shirt right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Row the boat, Sky Yuma. Anyway, great to connect. The reason I was reaching out to you is I actually help hospital CFOs with budget planning.
Mhm.
If you're ever interested, I've got some great free
Right.
resources.
Mhm.
Happy to send them over.
Mhm.
Either way, hope the weather improves. You can see
Mhm.
out, because I'm doing a little selfie video.
Mhm.
Takes me
Yeah, they can
30
see the
seconds.
snow behind you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's so powerful because
Mhm.
it's like a one-on-one personal engagement
Right. Right.
through the palm of your hand.
Mhm.
And you don't even have to do it on camera. You can do little audio drops right
Mhm.
in the app.
Mhm.
But again, it's personalized
Right.
one-on-one engagement.
Right.
And what I tell people is you don't need a script. You don't need an act. You don't need a shtick. Just be yourself.
Uh-huh. Right.
Your biggest advantage in the
Mhm.
marketplace is you. It's
Mhm.
your unique personality. It's your communication
Mhm.
style. It's your sense of humor.
Mhm.
And even if you're thinking and sitting back watching or listening, you go, well, my audience is too stiff and this is LinkedIn. They're human beings.
Right.
They
Right.
laugh.
Yeah.
They watch Netflix. They
Mhm.
like good jokes.
Mhm.
They follow sports teams. You need to break the ice
Mhm.
because people are not going to buy from you unless they know you and
Mhm.
like you and trust you.
Right.
And part of this approach I use with one-on-one LinkedIn messaging is I want to connect at that cave person level where
Mhm.
we see each other and like each other and build
Right.
some rapport.
Mhm.
Here's the great thing too, Deb, that you mentioned earlier is everyone doesn't have to be your client. So
Right.
when you overlay your authentic,
Mhm.
genuine self through one-on-one
Mhm.
LinkedIn messaging, what happens is you attract people that enjoy that and
Mhm.
want to connect
Right.
and work with you.
And the
And
people that don't, okay,
you
fine. They're going to
repel
find
them.
somebody else.
Go
Mhm.
away.
Mhm.
I don't want to work with
Mhm.
nightmare
Right.
clients.
Right.
I don't want to work with you if
Mhm.
you don't like my 80s jokes.
Mhm.
Forget it. Right?
Right.
It's
That's
over.
fine.
If we
Mhm.
can't go deep on 80s tube socks and arcades and,
Mhm.
rotary phones,
Vanilla
we
ice.
have nothing.
Talk about
This
vanilla
interview's
ice.
finished.
Mhm.
Right? Like
Mhm.
you and me were bantering offline about like joking about the 80s and all
Mhm.
the party line and and
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
that I want to insert and overlay that
Mhm.
into my personality when I banter with you on LinkedIn
Right.
so that I attract people that go, you know what, this guy's going to be a lot of fun to work
Mhm.
with. Let me give a quick analogy
Mhm.
that'll help
Okay.
crystallize this for people listening and watching. So I call it my Send It In Jerome story. So when I was doing this back in 2012, before
Mhm.
you could do selfie videos or
Mhm.
anything, I went on LinkedIn and I had the client facing profile, Debt
Mhm.
Collection Marketing Guy. I found a debt collector on the East Coast, and he was perfect. He was my exact decision maker. So
Mhm.
I reached out. The only piece of personal information I could really get from his LinkedIn profile was he went to the University of Pittsburgh during the 1980s. And I
Mm.
thought, well, what do I know about Pitt?
Right. Mhm.
And I'm a huge sports fanatic. So I was like, what do I know? College sports, Pittsburgh. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, Send It In Jerome, 1980s. There's a famous moment. If you Google Send It In Jerome, you'll see it
Mhm.
right away. Pittsburgh had a nationally ranked college basketball team.
Mhm.
And during a nationally televised game, they were on a fast break, and a player named Jerome Lane got the ball, went up and dunked it, and shattered the
Yeah,
glass
the billboard
backboard.
went. Phew.
Glass came raining down. The rim got ripped off.
Mhm.
And the famous basketball announcer, Bill Rafferty, who's still around today, yelled into the microphone, "Send it in, Jerome. Send it in." And everybody in the arena went crazy.
Mhm.
I was watching it as a kid. I still remember
Mhm.
it. It's one of
Right.
those "where were you" moments.
Mhm.
Now, all of that flashes into my mind in about 14 seconds
Mhm.
while I'm looking at this person's profile,
Mhm.
and I see they went to Pitt during that era.
Right.
So I immediately insert into my
Mhm.
message to this prospect, "Hey, John Nemo wanted to connect. By the way, I see you went to Pitt. Do you remember
Mhm.
Send It in Jerome?"
Mhm. Right. And
He
even
writes
if he didn't like sports, he probably still knew what you were talking about.
exactly. So I was like, if nothing else, he will remember that
Mhm.
incident. He was a student
Right.
there. And he writes back within 30 seconds, "I was at the game." Ah! Like you can almost hear the Bruce Springsteen
Right.
song "Glory
Mhm.
Days" playing in the
Mhm.
background. Like he's
Mhm.
back at Pitt.
Mhm.
It turned out he was a varsity athlete at Pitt. He played varsity
Oh.
soccer. He
Mhm.
knew the basketball
Mhm.
guys. He was there at the game. The arena went nuts. So
Mhm.
now he's engaged.
Mhm.
Now he's like curious and hooked
Yep.
in. Like, who is this guy that
Mhm.
brought back my
Right.
favorite college
Mhm.
memory? This is unique. This is
Mhm.
different. This isn't your everyday LinkedIn
And
message.
wait a minute, he wasn't trying to sell me something.
Right. Now he goes and he's curious. So he looks at my profile. What's my profile say? Debt collection marketing guy. I
Mhm.
help debt collectors get all these things they want. He's a debt collector who needs marketing services.
Mhm.
So now he reaches back to me, another LinkedIn message. This all
Mhm.
happens within a couple minutes. And he
Right.
says, "By the way, I was curious about your profile.
Mhm.
You look like exactly what we need. We're
Mhm.
looking for marketing help. We want someone who understands our
Mhm.
world, who's been in our
Mhm.
industry. Looks like you've done that.
Mhm.
Can we have a call tomorrow about marketing services?" I get on the phone the next day and got a $10,000 contract, like that easily
Mhm.
and that
Right.
quickly. And it was
Right.
because I personalized and broke the ice, and underneath that had a client profile that was all about them and how I could
Mhm.
help them get what they want. And what was really funny, Deb, the kind of ending to that story is when I was auditing my client list and talking to different individuals, like, what helped me win your
Mhm.
business? Was it my website? Was it my
Mhm. Mhm.
logo? Was it my copy? And he goes,
Mhm.
"No, this client goes, it was Send It in Jerome."
Mhm.
He's like, "I knew
Right.
if you were that good at
Mhm.
personalizing your outreach to
Mhm.
me, that you could do that for us, that
Right.
you would have that level of
Mhm.
attention." And he goes, "Also, I knew you'd be fun to work with.
Mhm.
Everyone around the office called you the Send It in Jerome guy. You had a hook, you had a narrative."
Mhm.
It's like, it was just going to be fun.
Mhm.
And so that's an example of why, if you take the time on LinkedIn to
Mhm.
break the ice,
Mhm.
to do a one-on-one engagement, to
Mhm.
market to someone else like they're a human being, to talk about
Mhm.
their life and their story. This is another thing I learned in How to Influence People was the sweetest sound in all of the English language to someone else is the sound of his or her own name.
Right.
There's nothing more
Mhm.
powerful
And it's
than
not
hearing
insert name here.
John Nemo.
Mhm.
Well, and then
Mhm.
making it all about them. Well, I see you
Mhm.
went to Pitt. Do you remember
Mhm.
Senator Jerome? And wow, you played soccer there.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
Mhm.
And what, all of a sudden they
Mhm.
get done with that call and they're like, that was the best conversation I've ever had.
Right.
They did all the talking,
Mhm.
but you're bringing,
Mhm.
bringing value, asking questions.
Mhm.
That's how you market to human beings. You
Mhm.
don't market to human beings in real life by going, "Hi, I'm John Nemo. I want to sell you a $10,000 marketing
Yeah.
pack."
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, yeah. And then you go on to the
Yeah.
next person,
You
right?
just want
Mhm.
to sell me something. You don't care about me as a person. You could care less.
Mhm.
Whereas what makes you different when you use this approach on LinkedIn is that's how you market in real life. You don't
Mhm.
walk into a one-on-one
Right.
meeting with a prospect for lunch or
No.
coffee
Mhm.
and try to close them
Mhm.
right away. You break
Mhm.
the ice, you warm them up, you ask
Mhm.
questions, you
Mhm.
banter, you build rapport. That's what I do and teach people to
Mhm.
do at scale on LinkedIn.
Mhm. Right.
That's the secret sauce here. Like you
Mhm.
said, you don't have to drive across town and do 50
Mhm.
million coffee meetings and networking events. You just sit in front of your
Mhm.
laptop, you bring out your mobile phone, you sprinkle in a personal
Mhm.
video to up the ante,
Mhm.
to continue the banter, and that's where the magic starts to happen.
Right. And what I love about this is I think so many people think LinkedIn is so professional. And and one of the things, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure that I referred back to it, and it's that word gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just trying to connect with somebody, so we might get, whatever your, insert book of lists here is of the top 40 people in your industry. You might be able to track down their email address, maybe, maybe you get their email address,
Mhm.
but more than likely you've got an info at, or you're guessing at what it might be, all these various things. And heaven forbid you actually pick up the phone. You never, ever get them. You get their gatekeeper.
Mhm.
And, and that's perfectly fine. That's what that gatekeeper is hired for. They're
Right.
there to screen, to make sure that only those who are worthy get through. And even some of those don't get through. But for the most part, on LinkedIn, people are looking at their own account. Now, every once in a while, you will come across somebody who their VA, their assistant, their whoever is doing their LinkedIn account. Okay, well, then you're not going to connect with them right away, and they're off your list. And so by having all of this, just these little snippets, and you're getting them obviously from their profile. They've got their alma mater on there. They might have talked about some jobs, some places. All these various little things are coming out, and that's also why I tell people that's why you put in there where you volunteer for. That's why you can put in some little snippets of personal information. It's okay to have the little bits in there without going into the Facebook TMI. Because
Right.
then when we look at it, it's great. I told somebody one time when I was in Colorado, I was working with somebody and saw that he was a huge Colorado Rockies fan.
Oh, there you go.
And so, first meeting, I've got a coffee mug that's Colorado Rockies, and it's got chocolate in it, right? Because you like
Boom.
Colorado Rockies and you like chocolate. Now, I told him, I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you like the Rockies. So he didn't think I was a stalker.
Right.
And I mean, that is important. You want to make
Yeah.
sure that they're not, well, I heard you get this. But then when the deal closed, they got Rockies tickets.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of upped it a little bit, but it was just a little bit of personal
Yes.
without going overboard.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people really appreciate it, because we don't get that.
Nope.
That's what I've been talking with all my other guests about this whole month, is the fact that we get these canned, cut and paste requests to connect, afterward responses where they never, ever, 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 ever even looked at my profile. And so then I'm offended because they're wanting to help me with social media. Or, can we tell you how to do LinkedIn? Well, probably not. Or the people that, have you ever thought about having a podcast?
500 shows
Well,
in.
yeah. Or we can help you promote it. Well, I'm pretty sure I know how to do that too.
Yeah.
Now, could they help me? Highly possible they might be able to, but they went about it in a way that immediately turned me off. And if they had said, "Oh my gosh, I just listened to the last 5 episodes of your podcast, it's fabulous," and then left it, okay, then a little while later they could have said, "Have you ever thought about, we can help you do that?" And so you build that relationship with those little snippets of personal information.
Yeah, and I've just looked at your LinkedIn profile. You have the word
And you
LinkedIn
cringed.
strategist
You
in your headline.
cringed. Yeah, it's okay.
No, not cringing. I'm cringing that the marketing people
Mm-hmm.
pitching you
Right.
LinkedIn advice don't even look at your headline,
Mm-hmm.
which shows up when they
Right.
invite you.
I know.
Why
It
don't you
says
put
I'm a LinkedIn strategist.
LinkedIn strategy.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get that too. It's
Mhm.
like I had somebody write me a coronavirus pitch, and they're like, "Hey, with the coronavirus, have you thought about creating online courses?" I'm like, my headline says I create online courses for a living. I have 4
Right.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good. I've already
Yeah.
created 4. They're
Yeah.
like,
Pretty good with
"Oh,
it.
okay."
But then you get their canned response, right? They don't even read what you respond. I'm
Yeah.
like,
So
oh my gosh, people.
this is your advantage on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Just a little bit of, and again, you're not wasting time
Right.
to engage your exact ideal prospect.
Right. Right.
Never a waste
Mhm.
of time to talk more
Mhm.
in depth with the exact
Mhm.
person. Because again, this isn't the gatekeeper. This isn't the admin
Right.
assistant. This is the exact
Mhm.
CFO of the hospital that you're bantering with, and
Right.
you're starting to build a
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
Let me quickly, before I forget, people always say, well, okay, how do you move from breaking the ice to actually asking for a sale? Or how do you move that conversation? So I've got a specific script that I share and that I give away. And here's how it works. So once you've broken the ice, once you got people warmed up, it's got 4 specific parts.
Okay.
You start out with asking them a question. So the LinkedIn message looks like
Mhm.
this. Hey, Sally, curious, are you interested in blank? And
Mhm.
blank is a topic that you want to ideally help them with a product or service around. So, hey,
Without
Sally,
it being too salesy, so
without it being,
are you interested in making $1 million in the next
yeah,
year?
yeah, exactly. Not the hyperbole.
Mhm.
Don't claim you're a ninja and a guru. We have enough of those already. Bruce Lee cornered the market. Just be yourself. But so you say, hey, Sally, curious, are you interested in using LinkedIn to get more leads? Are you curious in improving your website's ranking on Google?
Right.
Whatever
That's a yes or a no.
yes or no. You're asking permission. And then you say, the reason and then part 2 of the message is you offer something of value for free. The reason I ask is, if you're interested, I have a great free training on how to do that. Like I have a great free podcast, a great free video, webinar, blog post, ebook, or free consultation if you're someone that has to give your time, free web analysis. And then part 1 is you ask a question. Part 2 is you offer something of value. Part 3 is you ask permission. So you don't include the link. You don't spam people the link to the webinar.
Can I send you?
If you're interested, can I send you a link? Or you say, if you're interested, here's what I do. I say, just reply yes, or shoot me up a thumbs up emoji, because a lot of them are on their mobile device. Just, type in yes or shoot me a thumbs up emoji, and I'll send you a link to whatever I offer.
Right.
And
so I don't pester you unless you want it.
And the 4th part is you take off the pressure, and you always end it with something like, if that's not your cup of tea, if you're not interested, no worries. Hope you're well. Stay safe. And what happens with that, I call that my messaging magic, because those 4 things, ask a question, offer something free of value that will demonstrate your expertise, ask permission, give them the opportunity to say yes or no, and then take the pressure off. That does a couple key things. One is you qualify people who raise their hand and say, yes, I am interested in that topic. What do you got? Show me more.
Right.
2 is you keep the relationship open so you can circle back later. Because maybe you're not interested in getting leads with LinkedIn, Deb, but maybe next month I send you a message on LinkedIn. Hey, Deb, curious, was thinking about this. Are you ever a fan of listening to podcasts? The reason I ask is I found a great new one called the Power Hour, and I think you should listen. Or would you like me to send you a link? Then another month later, you can ask them about sales training. Are you interested on that? Another month later, it could be a different topic. So you can keep circling through, and people don't get offended.
Right.
Because it's a very polite, asking permission, short note, and that lets you play the long game. Because if you stay in front of people on LinkedIn without the kind of, hey, just checking in, what's new, instead of offering something of value, letting them feel totally fine, saying, no, thanks, not for me. I've won a lot of clients that way where nothing really tripped their wire the first few times.
Right.
But eventually,
you kind of stay top of mind.
I was top of mind, and people said, I've seen your messages. I've never really responded, but this topic on webinars, I am interested in. We just had a meeting. What do you got? Right. And it's like, you never know when the timing will hit. And you just have to stay in front of people without being annoying, without being spammy. And this template I use over and over and over again is a great way to do it.
Right. And you mentioned you've got several templates in your book, and as I was reading it, I was thinking, okay, I've got to redo my profile, and that's part of why I love doing this whole month, because I get something from every single person.
Yes.
But what I liked about yours was it was very simple, and it's not simple as in too basic. It was easy to do, and so I probably should redo my headline, and that's okay. I think that's something that everybody should be thinking about frequently. And let's be honest, as we record this, and even as this is probably being broadcast initially, we are in our self-imposed exiles, isolations. Government has told you don't go out, whatever it is, because you're going to get sick. And so we've got a lot of time that we can be spending at our computers and thinking about all of this. Is our job secure? It might not be for an awful lot of people. Or it might be where they're thinking, well, okay, now might be a good time to pivot and do something different. So, folks, go through your profiles and look at all this information, and so, as John mentioned, the first thing is your headline. I mean, you've got 120 characters, which seems like a lot until you try and write it down. And I want to read John's. It says, LinkedIn lead generation for business coaches, consultants, and small business owners. online courses and consulting. Right there. You know exactly what he does. This is not the place to be cute. You know, we talked about the search engine. If people aren't going to know what you are because you were cute with your title, then they're not going to find you. You know, now there might be a way that you work cute in, you know, in your about section. You might say, you know, I'm known as the, but you know, putting that in your headline is not appropriate. You know, and so don't be cute. Put in there exactly what it is. Watch the buzzwords, you know, especially the ones like expert, strategist, you know, ninja, and all of those words.
Guru,
Right.
Jedi. I did a funny blog post. I was analyzing. I have like 20,000 LinkedIn connections now. I didn't realize I was connected to like 378 ninjas.
Wow.
Like 422 gurus.
Cool.
I was connected to some Jedis. I had
Ooh.
no clue I was among such virtual greatness.
I know.
Right?
I know.
It's like, but you hit on this key point, which is what I call practical versus aspirational. Everyone has very limited attention. They're scrolling through as fast as they can. So if you can't, in 120 characters, very quickly and simply explain what it is you do and who it's for, they'll keep moving. Right. So if you try to get cute and say lead ninja for, you know,
I'm like, I don't know what that means. So
but if you say
with just a title, I mean, if you just have president, founder,
of company name, because people will come, I have a cute company name. It's about blah, blah. Like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I'm a debt collector. What's in it for me? Debt collection marketing. Oh, you do marketing for people like me. Okay. I'll take another step in. And that's just be ultra practical and ultra simple so that an idiot standing in line at Starbucks, waiting for their name to get called, scrolling, and go, oh, wait, I'll tap that.
Right.
Because that has something in it for me, as opposed to people push back at me. Well, I want to be creative and be a ninja and be different and aspirational. I help people achieve their why. Well, what the heck does that mean? Like,
I know. I didn't know I needed to achieve my why.
Well, and it's,
can it be my ex instead?
Here's an example. Like, people will be like, well, what people really need is mindset coaching. And I'm a life coach and a mindset guru and a master mental ninja. And it's like, no one's going to buy that. Sell them what they want, which is improve productivity.
I help you solve your problems.
Right. And sell them what they want and give them what they need, which is mindset coaching.
Right.
But on the front end, make it about tangible, practical benefits they think is what they want. And then your service might be totally, you know, different. But I think that's that practical, simple approach. And it carries the day online, but especially on LinkedIn.
Right. You know, I still remember years ago when I was still in the PR world. See, this is why you and I get along.
Yes.
And Twitter had just come out. So, you know, and one of the news desks at one of the major television stations told me, now I was used to sending a pitch. And the pitch was the who, what, where, why, how, all of that good stuff. I worked for the American Cancer Society. So our pitches were really good. I mean, you know, it was information people needed. It was, you know, all sorts of things.
Sure.
And she told me that if I couldn't pitch it to her in a tweet, not to bother. Wow. And I was like, oh my God. You know, and so basically she wanted the headline. You know, but she was right. But her point was she got between 500 and 1,000 pitches a day.
Yeah.
And if she couldn't go through and go boom, 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 oh wait, let's go back to that one, then she didn't care. You know, and if she read that tweet and was interested, then she would ask for more information. Then we could get into the full pitch. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with your headline. If you don't catch someone's attention with that, and your banner now is a big part of that. You know, so what, you know, and your photo, folks, photo. I will not connect with somebody if they don't have a picture, period.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. Or they're wearing sunglasses, or they're like, you know, that is one thing about LinkedIn. Like, yes, you can let down your guard and be human and market that way. Remember, we're judging a book by the cover the first time.
Now, if you sell sunglasses, maybe you could have sunglasses.
Maybe if you're a Ray-Ban spokesperson, but like if you're, I mean, the only time you see me in a suit and tie is my LinkedIn photo, because I do want to give a professional appearance. Like I'm, you know, and it's, once we get bantering and let our guard down, but I mean, I think it's important, have a professional photo where we can clearly see your face.
And you're smiling.
and you're smiling.
And
You
you're
have to
not
look
looking like the
welcoming.
axe murderer. I mean, I've seen those too where you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't want
Yeah.
to connect with that person.
Remember how skeptical and suspicious people are about getting scammed and
Mhm.
defrauded online.
Right.
So that's why, here's another example. If you're going to put testimonials on your LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
which I highly recommend,
Mhm. Mhm.
have a little template, what others say, insert testimonial. Don't put what looks like a fake testimonial. John helped
Right.
me increase business 500%. Business owner, New York.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
John or
Mhm.
Pete L. Poughkeepsie.
Mhm.
Like that,
Mhm.
there's no way to verify that.
Right.
So
Right.
like use legitimate full names.
Mhm.
If you're in a situation where you have NDAs, you can't,
Mhm.
then just don't use them.
Mhm. Right.
Because otherwise everyone is going to look at you and go, well, you just made that up.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
maybe that's real.
Mhm.
So think about that in terms of how can you, at the speed of simplicity, get people to know, like, and trust you. And most importantly, the analogy you gave about Twitter in the pitch is brilliant because that's your LinkedIn headline is.
Right.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
entree point to, do I even want to connect with you?
Right.
Is there even anything more that I want to know?
Mhm.
And that's why this is so important.
Right. And then of course your about section, which it used to be summary, now it's about. And I love this. And again, you've got a template, you show exactly how to do this. I keep hoping that because Microsoft owns LinkedIn now, they will do things like bullet and underline and bold. But until then, we have very few options. All caps is one, and you use all caps and you use it in a way that works. So you say what I do in all caps. Then you have sentences. Then you say how I do it in all caps. Then you have sentences. It's not everything in all caps. You use emojis, which I think that's cute. I have not done it, so now I'm thinking okay, but it's very short. It's simple. You don't have more than maybe 2 or 3 sentences for each section, and so what happens is people it's just like we were saying with everything else. They read it and they either think I need to work with John or I don't need to work with John. There's no doubt in their mind, because let's be honest, if there's doubt, we don't have time for doubt.
Right.
It's, well, could John help me? Squirrel.
Yeah. A
Mhm.
confused prospect never buys.
Right.
If they're confused, they're gone.
Right.
And you don't want to waste time trying
Mhm.
to educate and explain it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Now, but the one thing, and this struck me last night as I was reading, and oh my gosh, we're going to go long, folks. Just be prepared. We're going a little bit long today. So what about the people who are doing more than one thing?
Mhm.
So either they've got a side business, or I mean, there are a lot of people nowadays that are doing more than one thing. So for example, I mean, I do social media for assisted living clients,
Mhm.
and I do LinkedIn training. How do I get that in my bio? And okay, folks, never think I'm going to have 2 profiles. All that's going to do is confuse people.
Yes. And LinkedIn will get mad at you and
Yes.
punish you.
And you might lose both of them. So
yeah.
So
I have
how do you talk about more than one thing in your
Great
about section?
question. Great question. I get this all the time. And I also get questions from people. I have a day job and a side hustle. I really want to grow the side hustle so I can quit the day job, but
Right.
I'm afraid to promote that
Yeah,
on
my
LinkedIn.
boss is
Boss
my
will
link.
fire me. I was in that spot in 2012.
Right.
So let's address that first. If you have a corporate job and you have a side hustle and the goal is to grow the side hustle and quit, and LinkedIn is kind of your gateway to find prospects, what I always do, and I learned this when I read the book Power by Jeffrey Pfeiffer, was have a great relationship with your boss and learn how to manage that relationship so that you can go to your boss and play that game and basically say, hey, you know what? Here's the deal. You know me, you know I'm killing it for the company. I have, this won't surprise you since you know me, but I have side passions and side hustles, and I'm really loving outside of work using LinkedIn for this side hustle. I just wanted to tell you that if you look at my profile, you're going to see the side hustle stuff. I've obviously got the day job stuff on there too. Just, I don't want you to be shocked, surprised. I'm not unhappy. You preemptively tell your boss, like, hey, I'm using it outside of work. Hope that's cool. Don't, like, the worst thing is to sneak around. You know what I mean?
Right. Because then nothing works. Let's be honest.
So that's what I advise you if you have a side hustle and you have to use LinkedIn. Or some people have said, well, my spouse and I have a business. we'll use the spouse's profile for one part and use yours for the other. It's okay. But here's what I do for someone like you, Deb, that's got multiple lines of service. So my best advice is under the experience section of your profile, which is lower down, you can add as many different types of experiences you want. So you can have one real fat experience section on the LinkedIn training, one on the social media for assisted living.
And they're the same dates. So people,
So
it's like, oh, okay, well, she's doing both.
So they can scan up and down. Here's what I tell people. Remember, 99% of the clients you're winning on LinkedIn is you reaching out right now, connecting.
Right.
So what I advise for someone like Deb is say, what do you want to focus on growing right now? Do you want to get more LinkedIn clients or more assisted living clients?
Focus on one.
So focus on one for the next month, 30 days. The beautiful thing about LinkedIn is it's digital, so you can change it anytime you want. Change the head. So if you say, you know what, I want to go all in on the assisted living niche right now and get a bunch of business, and then I can change it back. Change your headline to, social media services for assisted living facilities, what I do. And then the summary is all about what I do. I help assisted living facilities improve family engagement, blah, 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 get new residents by providing X years of experience of social media, what makes me unique, all those things. And then lower down in the experience section, you still have the LinkedIn training.
Right.
But the reality is the people that already know you and love you for LinkedIn training, they're not going to get upset or worry that your headline changed. But the people you're actively reaching out and talking to for the next 30 days are assisted living facilities. Well, they don't want to see all this other stuff up there, and they go, well, it's just a podcast, but I don't really care about that. She has LinkedIn. Well, I don't want LinkedIn. I just want someone to help solve my problem with social media at our facility. So that what I tell people is just do it in little spurts and be like, for the next, like right now, I'm targeting coaches and consultants. Tomorrow I could change it and say LinkedIn lead generation for hospital sales executives. Easy to fix, easy to tweak. And then your outreach, you kind of lead with the top down, whoever you're reaching out to. And look, you can use your other channels to appeal to other audiences, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, your website, your email list. But for LinkedIn, and I've done this for decades, and I'm just telling you, like, it doesn't work if you try to be too many things to too many people. You just can't. So again,
it leads to confusion. And when people are confused, they're like, I'm going on to the next one because this person's not confused.
Yeah. And it's just, I have found that, I have a couple really good target audiences that I go to, and that's what I use LinkedIn for. And that's who I appeal to. And that's who I approach. Right. From the top down, they go, it's about me. It's about me. It's about me. Very low down, I have, by the way, I have 4 different online courses, webinar training, sales training, content marketing training. None of that's at the top because I'm not actively trying to grow that right now. Right. I want to, but I can't use that. If I put all 4 of those in my LinkedIn headline, people would be like, what? Like, what are you approaching me about? I don't need all this stuff. I just want LinkedIn help. Aren't you the LinkedIn guy? And then you can change it next month and I can be content marketing guy with that course and book and everything. And, it just depends on how you want to grow your business and be strategic about it.
Right. And it is changeable. I think that's what so many people forget is this is not written in stone, folks.
Yes.
And maybe you've got, say, 3 things that you're doing. Well, save all that information in like a Word document. And then, you switch it out when you want to, and, all of those things so that you're not having to go, what did I say about that?
What did I say again?
Yeah. But oh my gosh, John, we are almost at the top of the hour and we've scratched the surface on this. So, because we didn't talk about how to really build those relationships with people. And so for now, we're just going to leave it that people need to read the book, but it is about building those relationships, having those little snippets of conversation, of real conversation, folks. This is not the thing where it's clear that that you didn't read the profile. If you're talking about the Minnesota Gophers, right?
Go Gophers. Yes.
The Gophers.
Go Gophers.
We got to talk about the Gophers.
Yeah, see, Minnesota. You can be a Minnesotan.
I know. We got the Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And so, they might not be a Gopher fan.
Right.
But you broke the ice with them.
It's part of their story.
Yeah.
It's part of their story, and it's a jumping off point you went to school there.
Right.
Oh, I was actually an Alabama transplant. Y'all are crazy. Well, great.
I
Well,
know. Yeah.
talk about Alabama.
Yeah. Roll Tide. Roll
Tide, War Eagle. That's Auburn. Yeah, but I mean,
don't do that. No,
But,
don't cross your A's.
But how do you build? So here's one key tip I'll leave people with before we finish. Yes, break the ice, talk to people. More importantly, on the flip side, bottle up your best tips and knowledge as content, and then give that to people.
Right.
I give away this book for free on the front page of my website, linkedinriches.com. You can download the entire audiobook 4 hours for free. You can download the Kindle version for free, the PDF for free. I give it all away. You want to buy it on Amazon? Great. I don't mind, but I'm much more interested in giving you expertise that demonstrates my authority, that helps you get quick wins, because now you trust me and you're going to want to learn more from me or refer people. And that's the idea with content marketing is bottle up that expertise and then take it and give it to people.
Right. Yeah, and it's funny, we didn't even talk about content marketing, because you mentioned the fact that, updating your status and all of those things, that's okay. But most people don't even read that.
Nope.
They might see it go past on the newsfeed, but they don't care. I look at what somebody has been posting, but that's because I'm looking to see what they're posting. Most people don't care. Right. Now you still should do it because LinkedIn likes it because it shows that you're active on the site. But, it's not, because that's the other thing. People, I don't have anything to post. I can post my cat picture on Facebook, but I don't know what to post on LinkedIn. So that's why they don't do anything. Well, that's where you share other people's content, all sorts of things, so that LinkedIn goes, oh yeah, this is a real person and they're doing something. But it's not the be all end all. It's about building those relationships. And I love this. I mean, just reaching out to people once a month. Hey, how you doing? The weather's changed. How about that coronavirus?
Yeah. There's a good icebreaker. Hope you're not dead.
I know,
if you are, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I guess you're not going to respond.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is about doing it personal, and and I guarantee you, folks, you will stand out because nobody else does it.
Nobody's
personal.
doing that. Yeah.
And I mean, just look back through the last, go to your little tab up there where it's, you've got your messages, and read through and see how many of them were pretty much a cut and paste. And I'm going to guarantee you it's the vast majority.
99%. And the one that I'll tell you right now, personally, me, 20,000 connections. When someone messages me about Minnesota hockey, the Gophers, anything, I'm all of a sudden engaged with these people. I can't help myself. Yeah. They're talking about what I love.
Somebody talks about my Colorado Buffs. Okay, you got me.
You all the way. I was thinking of that with the gold, right? The Buffs, yes. See, there you go. I love it.
See, if I'd known you were going to wear a Minnesota shirt, I would have worn my golden buffalo shirt.
Yeah, because the golden, I mean, the same color, sort of. You're black and gold. We're maroon and gold, so you're cooler. Maroon is a lame color.
It's very confusing, these school colors.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's a little touch point. Maybe it is that somebody is a volunteer, and you're like, oh my God, I'm a big. I saw that you were a big, but that's big brothers, big sisters. For those of you who are just thinking, what the heck did she talk about? I'm not a big.
I listed that on my profile. That's a touch point where you can say, oh, I saw you volunteered. Very cool. How was your experience? I did that too.
Yep. And of course you're putting that in there to show that there's skills that you've learned there, all those various things that we've talked about. But it's a way for people to go, oh my gosh, look at what you've done. I've done that also. And that's really good for people who might have, they might not have as many skills. They might have been in the same career forever. They might have been in the military. They might have been a stay-at-home parent. All these various things. You've done other things. It's okay to put them in there.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Yay. Well, John, like I said, I didn't even get through half my notes. So we just have to do this again. And we have to do it before next year. So we'll make sure that we've got this. And we might not have college sports. So, this can drive me nuts. Oh, to not have, it was so funny. Total aside, I was watching a TV program last night and they were talking about the character in the TV was watching March Madness. I'm like, now wait a minute. How come they got March Madness and we didn't?
Yes. Yeah, I miss it.
Oh yeah. And even, like we said, even if somebody doesn't like sports, they still know what the heck you're talking about. And so they might say, I'm really glad we don't have March Madness on right now. Okay.
The key is to get a conversation going, get some engagement. And it's just, this all boils down. I'll hold the book up one more time, Lovana White. Go get a free copy, linkedinriches.com. I mean, there's no barrier to entry other than put your email in, and I'll send you more free tips. But it's really one-on-one personal marketing. One-on-one engagement, banter, qualify, ask questions. They'll raise their hand and say, yes, tell me more, or no. Right. And you can then streamline your approach and give the people who are saying they want your attention and, you know, items, give them your attention and make the sales.
Perfect. I love it. Well, do you have, that was a pretty good final thought. Any other final thoughts?
That's really it. I mean, I think the biggest thing that people are craving online more than ever now is genuine, authentic, transparent connection.
Yep.
So let your guard down, be human, share your real life, not like, may your life be as awesome as you pretend it is on Facebook, right? Hashtag blessed, hashtag perfect Corona family. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're all in your shorts and t-shirts and your kids are tearing the house apart. You know,
and you have no toilet paper.
Nuts. There's no toilet paper because zombies ate it, or I don't get the toilet paper fanaticism. Whatever. But be authentic, be genuine, be transparent, be yourself. People are looking for that online, especially when we're isolated like we are now.
Right.
And I think that's going to, again, attract people that genuinely like you and want to work with you. And it's going to repel people that would be a terrible fit.
Right.
And that's win-win
okay
for everyone. That's good for all.
Well, you know, if you're not already connected with us on LinkedIn, please do that. Be sure to tell us, excuse me, that you saw, I start coughing. People are like, oh my God, she's got coronavirus.
Don't go down.
I know. Be sure to tell us that you listened or watched the program. We'd love to get your feedback on that. I've been having a really great time. You know, we really could go on longer and longer, but you know, we do need to stop at some point. I've been having a great time talking with John Nemo. I'm Deb Creer, and until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.